In 2022, I released my indie game to Steam. I worked on it for 2 whole years. But was it worth it? Well, let's just say it was not what I expected. It all began in 2020. I quit my job and thought it would be a great idea to become an indie game dev. In the beginning, I was making shitty mobile games about cowboy cats and samurai cats. But then I decided to make a real game. My initial idea was to make a third-person platformer just like Crash Bandicoot, but I sucked at 3D modeling. So I decided to make it Minecraft style with a bunch of cubes. Lastly, I wanted it to have Souls-like combat, because back in the day, people were comparing Insane Trilogy to Dark Souls, so I wanted to make it a reality. And so, I took my genius idea and started development. Since this was my first 3D and desktop project, I struggled a lot, especially with Blender. Oh my god, it's so difficult. I had to learn coding, 3D modeling, texturing, pixel art, art direction, leveling, game design, sound design, music theory, and a bunch of other stuff. But despite the difficulties, I managed to finish the project. It was called Dann Fox and the Time Machine. It was about Dan, a fox who lived in a kingdom. And one day, the kingdom was mysteriously attacked. And upon the chaos of the attack, a wounded soldier found him and brought him to a secret passage in a tower. There, he showed Dan a secret weapon that could stop the attack, but it needed reactors to power up. The problem is that the reactors were all spread across time. But the soldier showed another secret weapon. It was a coffee grinder, milk steamer, espresso maker, and a time machine. And with it, Dan would travel through time and collect the reactors to power up the weapon and stop the attack on his hometown. Talk about A-level writing. The game had around 50 levels across various locations and times, had secret levels, lots of boss fights, weapons, collectibles, skins, and even had weapon customization mechanic. Here are some of my favorite boss fights from the game. Even though the game has its flaws, and it has a bunch of flaws, I'm still very proud of the result. I think I couldn't have done better than I did, and I'm very happy with the result, and I'm very proud of it as well. But then it came time to promote and market my game. Or so I thought, because this is something that I should have done months before releasing the game, not a week before. I tried making YouTube videos, Reddit posts, but nothing really worked. All I had was 300 wishlists on Steam, and that's it. When the release day came, I was super excited and nervous as well. I wasn't employed for almost 3 years now, and my savings were almost gone. I was betting everything on the game's release, and let's just say that my dream was on a tightrope. And then, the day of release came and went, and by the end of it, I had sold a total of 5 copies, and by the end of the first week, it sold 12 copies, and today, 2 years later, it sold 87 copies, which totals to $0. Yeah, Steam only pays you if you make at least $100 net, which is not my case. To say that this was disappointing would be an understatement. I was devastated. I thought my game would be a huge success, and to see 2 years of work, of hope, and dreams all crumble because of your own incompetence is heartbreaking. During development, I was thinking of updates, sequels to the game, a fan base, merchandise, spin-off games, and so much more. And the reason why I didn't promote the game earlier was because I was afraid of showing an incomplete project. And I was also afraid of people stealing the game's idea, which in hindsight is so stupid. If you have a product, promote it. Don't be afraid of doing so. After this failure, I went through a lot. I felt like a complete failure myself and that I would never succeed in anything. I thought about quitting game development altogether and getting a real job, which I did, but thankfully I didn't give up on my dream and kept going. But currently I'm working on a new project. It's also a Souls-like, but it's more focused on exploration, puzzles, and combat. It began as a sequel to Dann Fox and the Time Machine actually, but slowly it became its own thing. It's still very early in development, but I do plan on releasing a beta version very soon. You can check my channel for videos about it if you're interested. See, I learned my lesson. And if you want to support my work in any way, shape, or form, you can subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and a like on the video, and you can also check my Patreon that I just made. But well, that was it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I see you next time. Thank you for watching.